With stores like Walmart and Target and Lowe's open to the public, why do school administrators think we need online classes at all?
That's a really good question. When I think about stores like Walmart and Target, I look at that in a sense that parents have a choice. People have a choice. They can either go into the store or they could have things maybe delivered to their home or pick them up curbside. Offering online, in my mind, it gives parents the choice. I've always stood by the idea that parents are in the best position to make a decision for their child because they know the home circumstances and they know the health pieces and so forth. So I really think it's more about giving the parents a choice in the matter than anything else.
As schools are opening, what do you have to say about outbreaks that are happening at other schools that have already started? For instance, the school in Georgia.
Yeah, I think that's my comment on that would be it's inevitable. I think schools are working really, really hard to do what they can to minimize the risk of transmission. But in truth, I don't think there is a complete 100% fail-safe against it if there's a virus roaming around without a vaccination. So I think it's actually to be expected. And I think we all would hope that those cases are few and far between due to the diligence of schools in trying to really reduce transmission.
Currently, when whole baseball teams are being quarantined, one player gets sick and the whole team gets quarantined. That's kind of the method of operation right now. What are you going to do if a student gets sick? What's the plan there?
So if a student gets sick or is positive lab confirmed COVID-19, then obviously that report would go to our Director of Health Services. Immediately, she would contact the Bell County Health Department, and basically they run us through a contact tracing protocol, and then we would communicate according to that protocol. And so that could result in a range of things. That could be anything from a very localized self isolation or quarantine, maybe a few students, maybe an entire classroom, or it could range to multiple classrooms or an entire sports team or band or so forth.
Similarly, what's the plan if a teacher was to become sick?
So the plan is actually identical to if a student does, with one exception, and that exception is if a staff member is reported ill or being a lab confirmed COVID-19 case, then that report would not go to our Director of Health Services. It would go to our Director of Employee Wellness. And then she would contact the Bell County Health District, and then we would work through the same protocols.
All right, we're told to social distance, wash our hands, and most importantly, wear masks. That's been kind of a sticking point for a lot of people. What's the plan if a student can't do online learning at home and just doesn't want to wear a mask at school?
So I'm going to answer the second part of that question and then the first part. The second part of that, the idea that a student cannot do online learning, I'll tell you, I don't think that's the case because we will have the opportunity to provision internet access if that's an issue, or deploy a device if that's an issue. So I think we're really trying to remove that as a barrier. But the main part of your question, what if a student comes to school, they've selected in-person learning, and they just don't want to wear a mask? Well, we will treat that like a dress code violation. It's a rule within our schools. And so, the first couple times they'll have a chance to correct it. Then after that, there'll be a continuum of consequences. We hope we don't have to get to that. If they want to be there, they would follow the safety protocols. But, those consequences, they could range anywhere from lunch detention to after school detention and so forth. If it just got to a point of blatant refusal over and over and over, I think at that point we would strongly recommend student, you would need to be educated remotely.
All right, Dr. Ott, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much for working with schools.
Absolutely.